Hi guys, I'm your English teacher Kay with ISpeakSpokeSpoken.com, and you can download these slides and take a quiz at the end to make sure that you've learned everything we're covering today. In these slides, we're looking at the 52 most important phrasal verbs in English. So a phrasal verb, also known as a particle verb, adds a particle to a base verb to change the meaning of the base verb. For example, the phrasal verb take off can be used to describe a plane, like when a plane takes off, it leaves the ground, it starts flying, or take off as in remove, like take off your jacket. So there are two elements for phrasal verbs. There's the verbal base and a particle. So the particle off changes the meaning of take when we say take off. Now be careful, because a phrasal verb can have a non-separable particle. For example, I'm looking after the kids today. We can't separate after from looking. After must come before the subject, but there are separable particles. For example, turn on. We can separate this in the case of turn the radio on. So in this case, the phrasal verb meaning stays the same even though we can separate the particle. But some cases, such as looking after, the particle cannot be separated. Another important thing to keep in mind is that we can have two particles. For example, looking forward to. Here, forward to, we have two particles put together for this phrasal verb. So now let's get into the list of the 52 most important phrasal verbs in English. Now this is just a list of the most common phrasal verbs that I think will be helpful for you to learn. You might come up with some others on your own, but this is the list that I've put together. And don't forget, you can click up here on the I to download the slides, or you can click on the link in the description below. So let's start with the category of movement and direction for the phrasal verbs. Number 1, back off means to move backwards or away from something. For example, when he saw the dog growl, he wisely decided to back off. And let's pay attention to pronunciation here. Saw, saw. Growl, growl. Good. Number 2, come in, to enter a place. So here we have the base verb and here we have the particle. For example, please come in and make yourself at home. Now let's pay attention to pronunciation. Make, make. Good. And number 3, come out. Here we have the base verb and the particle. Come out means to appear or become visible. For example, the stars come out at night when the sky is clear. And number 3, come over. Here we have the base verb and the particle. And that means to visit someone's house. For example, why don't you come over for dinner tonight? Let's pay attention to pronunciation here. Dinner, dinner. Good. And number 5, drop by. Here we have the base verb and the particle. Drop by means to visit someone unexpectedly. For example, I might drop by your house later if I have time. And let's pay attention to pronunciation here. Later, later. Good. So don't forget, you can click up here to download the slides and take a quiz, and you can also click on the link in the description below. Okay, number 6, drop off. Here is the base verb and here is the particle. To drop off means to deliver something or someone to a place. For example, can you drop off these books at the library for me? And let's pay attention to pronunciation. Library, we have the emphasis on the first syllable. Library, library. Good. And number 7, get in. The base verb get, particle in, that means to enter a vehicle. For example, let's get in the car quickly, it's starting to rain. You can say get in the car or get in the boat. Number 8, get off. base verb get, particle off. That means to leave a vehicle or to leave a platform or a stage. For example, you need to get off the bus at the next stop. We wouldn't say get off the car, but we do say get off the bus. Number 9, get on. Base verb get, particle on. That means to enter or board a vehicle. For example, hurry up or we won't get on the train in time. Now pay attention. You can say get on the train, get on the bus, but you don't say get on the car. Number 10, get out. Base verb get, particle out. This means to exit a place or to exit a situation. For example, it's such a beautiful day, let's get out of the house. And pay attention to the pronunciation. Day, day. Good. Number 11, go back. Base verb go, particle back. That means to return to a place. For example, I forgot my phone at home. I need to go back. Pay attention to pronunciation. Phone, phone. Good. And number 12, go down. Base verb go, particle down. This means to move to a lower level or position. For example, the elevator is about to go down to the lobby. Pay attention to the pronunciation in elevator. We emphasize the first syllable, elevator, elevator. And number 13, base verb go, particle off. Go off means to explode or to start suddenly. For example, the alarm clock is set to go off at 7 a.m. sharp. Number 14, go out. Base verb go, particle out. This means to leave your home or to go to a social event. For example, we are going out for dinner. Would you like to join? Or you can say, oh, you look so nice. Are you going out tonight? This would imply that you're going to a social event. And remember, pronunciation for join, join. Good. Number 15, go over. Base verb go, particle over. This means to review something or to check something. For example, let's go over the notes before the exam. Remember to pronounce notes, notes. Good. Number 8, go through. Base verb go, particle through. This means to experience something or to endure something. For example, she had to go through all the boxes to find her book. Now remember, when you pronounce through, you're really making the TH sound. Stick your tongue out. Through, through. Good. And boxes has emphasis on the first syllable. Boxes, boxes. Okay. And 17, go up. Base verb go, particle up. This means to rise or increase. For example, the prices go up every year. The prices increase every year. Number 18, move on. The base verb move, particle on. This means to proceed or to progress. For example, after the breakup, he found it hard to move on. He found it hard to proceed with his life normally. Now let's pay attention to pronunciation. Breakup, we put the emphasis on the first syllable. Breakup, breakup. Good. And found, found. Okay. The next category for our phrasal verbs is communication. Number 19, ask out. Base verb ask, particle out. And this means to invite someone on a date. For example, he finally got the courage to ask her out. And here we have a separable particle. It's okay to put it after the subject. And let's look at pronunciation. Here we have emphasis on the first syllable, courage, courage. Good. Number 20, ask over. Base verb ask, particle over. This means to invite someone over to your house. For example, we should ask the neighbors over for coffee sometime. Again, this is a separable particle. And let's make sure that we are putting the emphasis on the first syllable in coffee, coffee. Number 21, bring up. Base verb bring, particle up. This means to introduce a topic of discussion. For example, I didn't want to bring up his past mistakes during the meeting. And pay attention to pronunciation. Mistakes has emphasis on the second syllable. Mistakes, mistakes. And 22, call back. Base verb call, particle back. This means to return a phone call. For example, she said she would call back after checking her schedule. And let's pay attention to pronunciation here. Would, would. And schedule has emphasis on the first syllable. Schedule, schedule. Number 23, check in. Base verb check, particle in. This means to report or announce one's arrival at a place. For example, please check in at the front desk when you arrive. Let's focus on pronunciation. Front, front. And arrive has emphasis on the second syllable. Arrive, arrive. And 24, check out. Base verb check, particle out. This means to examine or to look at something. For example, you should check out that new coffee shop downtown. Here we have the primary stress on the second syllable. Downtown, downtown. Good. And 25, fill in. Base verb fill, particle in. It means to give someone details. For example, could you fill me in on what happened at the meeting yesterday? When we pronounce meeting, put the emphasis on the first syllable. Meeting, meeting. And yesterday, emphasis on the first syllable. Yesterday, yesterday. And 26, find out. Base verb find, particle out. This means to discover or to obtain information. For example, I need to find out when the next train leaves. And let's make sure we're pronouncing this. Train, train. Don't forget, you can download these slides and take a quiz at the end to practice everything that we've learned today. Now, let's look at the next category for phrasal verbs about starting and stopping. Break down, base verb break, particle down. This means to stop functioning due to a malfunction. For example, the car broke down on the way to work. Pay attention here to pronunciation. Broke, broke. Good. 28, break in. Base verb break, particle in. This means to enter a place by force. It's usually a place that you're not supposed to be in. For example, someone tried to break in while they were on vacation. Let's pay attention to pronunciation. Break, break. While, while. And vacation has emphasis on the second syllable. Vacation, vacation. Good. 29, break out. Base verb break, particle out. Break out means to suddenly start, and it's usually something that you don't want, like a fire or a fight. For example, a fight broke out during the soccer match. Remember, broke, broke. And soccer has emphasis on the first syllable. Soccer. Soccer. Normally in American English, we say soccer, but most other English speakers say football. Number 30, break up. Base verb break, particle up. This means to end a relationship. For example, they decided to break up after 5 years together. And 31, call off. Base verb call, particle off. This means to cancel something. For example, the game was called off due to rain. And remember to pronounce rain, rain. Good. 32, cut off. Base verb cut, particle off. This means to interrupt or to stop something. For example, he got cut off in the middle of his phone call. Remember, we pronounce this phone, phone. And drop out. Base verb drop, particle out. This means to quit a course or to quit school or to quit an activity. For example, she had to drop out of the race because of an injury. So she had to quit the race because of an injury. And remember, for pronunciation, race, race. Because has emphasis on the second syllable. Because, because. And injury, injury. 34, kick off. Base verb kick, particle off. This means to begin something or to start something. For example, the concert kicks off at 8 p.m. sharp. The concert begins at 8 p.m. sharp. And concert, we emphasize the first syllable. Concert, concert. 35, set up. Base verb set, particle up. This means to establish something or to arrange something. For example, I need to set up a meeting for next week. And let's pay attention to the long vowel sound need, need. And meeting has emphasis on the first syllable, meeting, meeting. 36, start over. Base verb start, particle over. This means to begin again from the beginning. For example, sometimes you just need to start over and try again. And pay attention to pronunciation here. Start, start. Over, over. Good. And 37, stop by. Base verb stop, particle by. And this means to visit someone briefly. For example, if you're in the neighborhood, feel free to stop by. And let's look at pronunciation here. Emphasize the first part of the word, neighborhood, neighborhood. 38, turn off. Base verb turn, particle off. This means to deactivate a device or a light. For example, don't forget to turn off the lights before you leave. Now let's take a look at pronunciation. Deactivate has emphasis on the second syllable. Deactivate, deactivate. And leave has a long vowel sound. Leave, leave. And 39, turn on. Base verb turn, particle on. This means to activate a device or a light. So it's the opposite of turn off. For example, can you turn on the heater? It's cold in here. When you pronounce heater, make sure to emphasize the first syllable. Heater, heater. Okay, the next category for our phrasal verbs is about increasing and decreasing. Number 40, add up. Base verb add, particle up. This means to make sense or result in a logical conclusion. For example, the numbers just don't add up. We must have made a mistake. And let's look at pronunciation. Made, made. And mistake has emphasis on the second syllable. Mistake, mistake. Good. 41, cut back. Base verb cut, particle back. This means to reduce the amount of something. For example, we need to cut back on our spending this month. Make sure you're using long vowel sound here. Need, need. And don't forget your TH, month, month. One more time, month. Good. 42, cut down. Base verb cut, particle down. This means to reduce the number, the size, or the amount of something. For example, they're cutting down too many trees in the area. Pronunciation here, area, area. So don't forget, you can click up here to download the slides and take a quiz at the end. Let's look at 43. Go up. Base verb go, particle up. This means to increase in price, amount, or level. For example, the temperature is going to go up next week. And let's look at pronunciation. Temperature has emphasis on the first syllable. Temperature, temperature. Good. And 44, scale down. Base verb scale, particle down. This means to reduce in size or amount. For example, the company decided to scale down its operations to reduce costs. And let's look at pronunciation by putting emphasis on the second syllable. Reduce, reduce. Good. And 45, turn down. Base verb turn, particle down. This means to decrease the volume, the heat, or the intensity of something. For example, can you turn down the music? It's too loud. And remember, when we're pronouncing loud, 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 good. 45, turn up. Base verb turn, particle up. This means to increase the volume or the heat or the intensity of something. It's the opposite of turn down. For example, she turned up the volume to hear the news better. And with here, we have the long vowel sound. Hear, hear. Good. Now, the next category for phrasal verbs is emotional states. 47, breakdown. Base verb break, particle down. This means that you lose control emotionally or mentally. For example, she broke down in tears after hearing the news. And be careful with this pronunciation. It's not tears, it's tears. Tears. One more time. Good. Tears. Number 48, cheer up. Base verb cheer, particle up. This means to become happy or to make someone happy. For example, I brought you some flowers to cheer you up. And pronunciation, be careful here, brought, brought, brought. And flowers has emphasis on the first syllable. Flowers, flowers. Number 49, freak out. Base verb freak, particle out. This means that you react extremely emotionally with fear or excitement. For example, he freaked out when he saw the spider on his bed. And let's make sure that we emphasize the first syllable in spider. Spider. Good. Number 50, lighten up. Base verb lighten, particle up. This means to become more relaxed or easygoing. For example, you should lighten up a bit. It was just a joke. And be careful here with pronunciation. Joke, joke. Good. 51, settle down. Base verb settle, particle down. This means to become calm after being upset or to establish a more stable life. For example, after traveling the world, they decided to settle down in a small town. Pay attention here to pronunciation. Small, small. And town, town. Okay, and finally, number 52, wind up. Base verb, wind, particle up, and this means to end up in a particular place, situation, or condition unexpectedly. For example, after all the confusion, we wound up at the wrong restaurant. Pay attention to pronunciation. Wound, wound. Wrong, wrong. And restaurant has emphasis on the first syllable. Restaurant, restaurant. Good. So guys, it's been great teaching you today. Once again, I'm your English teacher, Kay, with ISpeakSpokeSpoken.com. And if you have any questions, please write them in the comments below. And don't forget, you can download these slides to take a quiz to make sure that you've mastered everything that we've covered today. I look forward to seeing you again. Bye!